So I'd like to show you guys a common problem that occurs with Robinson helicopters, and this happens about every 500 to 600 hours. What you'll notice is that you develop a crankshaft seal that starts leaking. It's on the rear of the helicopter. It's actually the front of the engine, but the rear of the helicopter. And when it starts to leak, it actually drips down on top of the muffler assembly. Then after you fly the aircraft and you park it on the ramp or pull it into the hangar, the oil will actually drip down off the muffler assembly. It almost makes almost a straight line on the floor. And you know, when you see that, you very likely got a crankshaft seal that's leaking. Once it starts, it's not going to get better, and might as well go ahead and fix it. It's quite a bit of labor involved. You have to tear the whole back end of the helicopter off and to get to it and put the seal in. But once you see it, it's not going to get any better. So I've got a couple videos here we'll show you on what it looks like and how you fix it. So you guys can see the accumulation of oil leaking directly under the helicopter. And anytime you see that, if you look in here, you can see some small amounts of oil splattered here, there, and everywhere. Up on here, you can see it there. So it's the lower, on the lower sheave, the crankcase seal is there, and it leaks and slings oil all over the place. So, so if you see that after it sits in the hangar, it sits on the ramp for a while, you know you got a crankcase seal that's leaking.
Okay, so here's where the crankshaft seal hides. Got the lower sheave off, and the belts are pulled up. There's the actuator, and there's the flywheel, and the crankshaft seal is behind the flywheel. Telltale signs: you got a leaking crankshaft seal when you get oil accumulating on top of the muffler shroud, but especially if you can see up inside on the inner side of the plenum on both sides, it slings oil, and you can see it streaking up the sides. Alright, we're going to pull the flywheel out. There's the end of the crankshaft. The crankshaft seal is right there. And little cotter pin puller. And you can see where it's leaking. It's broke loose. So we're gonna get a new one.
So here's the old crankshaft seal that we took out. Of course, you got to cut them in two to get them out of there. But let me set my camera down and I'll show you. Cut the thing in two, spread it apart a little bit, and you can kind of see where it starts to degrade and crack. You can see those cracks where it starts to come apart there a little bit. So about 500 hours is what you usually get out of a crankshaft to seal before they start to degrade a bit and leak. Okay, thought I'd show you guys one thing. Whenever you put the crankshaft seal in, one of the things you also want to replace is the alternator belt. Might as well go ahead, while you get the thing all torn apart, put a new alternator belt on as a little extra insurance, because it takes just about as many hours just to put an alternator belt on as it does to put the crankshaft seal. You got to tear the whole ass end of the helicopter off to replace the alternator belt. So we've got the aircraft all back together. Cowls aren't on yet, but so it's time to pull it out and leak check it, and then we'll put the balancer on it, balance the rear fan, and button her up. Should be good to go. So interestingly enough, the R22 doesn't seem to have the same problem that the R44 does as far as have a relatively limited life on the crankshaft seal. R22 seems to go quite a bit longer. There's different theories as to why everybody seems to have a theory as to why the seal doesn't last very long. It has to do with the engine running a little bit warmer or whatever. Not here to debate that, but safe to say about every 500 to 600 hours you can expect to put a crankshaft seal and have it replaced. What's interesting, to get the new crankshaft seal in there, you actually have to stretch it over the end of the crankshaft, and it's amazing how far the thing will stretch without breaking. But anyway, it's a fair amount of labor involved, and like I say, it's a very good idea while you got the thing torn apart to replace that alternator belt. It'd be a shame if your alternator belt gave up on you, 50 or 100 hours after you put the seal in and had to tear it all apart again. So, all right, well, I hope that was helpful and informational, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.